thank my Ward 7 community for the protective factors it continually provides so that I am able to stand before you this morning. Today, we are talking about how we work together, the government and the community, to increase safety in our neighborhoods. Last week, Mayor Bowser introduced the Addressing Crime Trends Now Act, or NOW Act for short. Act Now, in my opinion, aims to slow crime down and to protect citizens and businesses as we, the CBOs, the schools, the community, the parents, the youth, and the city, develop the infrastructure to support the trauma and environmental factors that lead people to crime in the first place. Of course, we all understand that there is never going to be one single cure-all plan. Because you see, crime is a complex symptom of compounding pain. But when we see that things are not working, we have a duty to self, to our citizens, and to our children to reevaluate, to change our posture, to rectify our missteps, and to allow our government to execute their sworn oaths while we prepare. All of this is we. I believe in the Act Now Act because I believe that together, through shared intention and accountability, we can and will act now to produce better outcomes for our city. I ask you now to join me in welcoming the district's own Washington native and chief executive, whom you have elected 3 times because of her track record of intentionality, accountability, and execution. Madam Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's give Elizabeth a big round of applause. Thank you for that introduction and your remarks about community safety. I couldn't agree more. I want to thank everybody for coming out. We're in beautiful Ward 7. And I want to recognize all the members of our public safety team, including our deputy mayor, the chief of police, the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department. Give them a big round of applause. And I want to acknowledge that the chief has been unanimously moved out of the Judiciary Committee, and we expect her to be fully approved by the council on Tuesday. So we're looking forward to that. And I am very pleased that residents across all 8 wards have gotten a chance to meet Chief Smith, to understand her vision for MPD, and for working hand in hand with the community. And you will know that she will quickly ask for the community's help and help us think through more ways to empower the community. Elizabeth talked about something that we're doing on our side to stay focused on a policy environment that makes it easier for us to recruit and retain police officers, but also helps us make sure that the police have the tools that they need to keep us safe. You know that I introduced a piece of legislation called Safer, Stronger in the spring. The council passed parts of that legislation by emergency, and we know that Brooke Pinto, who chairs the committee, has been committed to making sure that the permanent piece of that legislation also gets through the council. That emergency gave courts more discretion in holding people pre-trial who have committed violent acts. We also made the case when we introduced Safer, Stronger to consider something similar for youth who are charged with a violent or dangerous crime. We asked the courts to consider whether there is a safety issue in releasing young people back into the same circumstances that led them into trouble. And we think the time is now to revisit that proposal. Last week, I also introduced the Addressing Crime Trends legislation, or Act Now legislation of 2023. And Act Now builds on our Safer, Stronger legislation to better support the public safety ecosystem, prioritize victims, and supports MPD's ability to hire and retain the best of the best. So it gives the police new tools to prevent and enforce serious issues in our community. Many of these that are emerging lately, including organized retail theft, loitering in an open air drug market, and people wearing masks to commit robberies and carjackings. It acknowledges the day-to-day realities and challenges that our officers face without compromising our status as a leader in fair and constitutional policing. And it adjusts policies, and I've said this for the last 3 years, that has swung too far in the other direction. And while those reforms were well-intentioned, they are producing an environment that is creating less safety in the district. So those are the tools that we continue to work on. And we always want our residents to be able to be empowered to help themselves as well. That's why we created the private security camera, and thousands of people have taken advantage of it and got their $500 rebate and put cameras up at their homes or their businesses. So in the awful case that there is a crime, the chief will tell you how much that video evidence helps our detectives and officers solve those crimes. In the summer, we partnered with Hyundai, and more than 1,100 people brought their cars in to make it less easy for would-be carjackers to steal their car to use it in the commission of the crime. And next week, we will begin distributing dash cams to rideshare drivers and delivery drivers. Again, so that those people who are providing a pretty almost essential service these days to us in making deliveries will also be safer. So now we're here today because the chief had another very good idea, and that is to give out free tracking tags, most commonly known as Apple AirTags or tiles, to residents in some communities where we're seeing the highest amounts of motor vehicle theft. And these tags and tiles will help MPD recover stolen vehicles and hold people accountable. The word will also get out that this is not a community to come in and steal cars because it won't be worth your while. And with that, I want to ask the chief to talk a little bit more about this approach, and make sure she'll be available to answer all the questions about the technology. Chief Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Mayor Bowser for her support of this initiative. As the mayor briefly shared, the members of the Metropolitan Police Department are excited to partner with our community on another strategy that can be used to help keep us safer. This year, we've seen a significant increase in the number of stolen vehicles and carjackings in the district. We investigate each case between the hard work of our officers and detectives, along with the community cooperation and good evidence. We've been able to make some progress in holding people accountable. Our carjacking, motor vehicle thefts, and unlawful use of vehicles are up 36% this year over last year. Over the summer, our officers began to notice a trend in the number of people that had a tracking device like an Apple AirTag in their vehicle. Those tracking devices allowed us to safely track and recover stolen vehicles. Today, we're announcing the launch of our pilot initiative to distribute Apple AirTag and tile tracking tags at no cost to DC residents. During this pilot initiative, residents of 6 police service areas, PSAs 106, 501, 502, 603, 605, and 606 were selected based on the current trends of carjackings and motor vehicle thefts. What do these devices allow us to do? Well, I'm glad you asked. While our goal is to prevent carjackings and motor vehicle thefts from occurring in the first place, that is not always possible. What we do know is that swift law enforcement action to identify and arrest those individuals involved in criminal activity is important for future deterrence and also allow us to hold people accountable. One way we can do this is with better information that leads to the arrest of these individuals. Air tags and tile tags tracking devices allow MPD officers and detectives the ability to quickly locate a stolen vehicle. While the individual who stole the car may not always be present, it will still help with the recovery of the stolen property and allow officers to potentially recover key pieces of evidence in these cases. Additionally, the information about the vehicle's whereabouts can help our detectives. They can help us develop information that can lead to the identification and the arrest of those committing these crimes. What we know is individuals that are involved in this type of criminal activity often commit multiple offenses, and a single arrest can help bring closure to multiple cases. MPD does not have direct access to the location of trackers. The tracking device can only be accessed by the owner of the device, and the residents will have to provide responding officers with the real-time location of the tracking device. So today, I am joining the mayor with key representatives of some of our most effective communities. Miss Mary Cavett from the 5th District, where she has lived since 1996. Miss Denise Woodfolk of the 5th District, where she has lived for the past 27 years, and Miss Gladys Gray from the 6th District. She has lived in PSA 606 for over 30 years. These residents have already stepped up and enhanced their protection by obtaining a free tracking tile device from the Metropolitan Police Department. And we invite residents of the PSAs I previously mentioned to come out to one of our 3 clinics next week between 4:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. to get the device installed. MPD community outreach officers will help the residents install one of these devices in their vehicles and also get it registered to their phone. All residents need to do is come out with an identification corresponding to one of the 6 PSAs mentioned, and we will do the rest. If you are not sure what PSA you live in, please go to mpddc.gov and click Find My PSA. I want to again thank Mayor Bowser and our community for their work to help us improve safety for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so thanks to our residents for coming out. I think we're doing a demonstration right after this, and then we'll conclude. And before that, I'll take any press questions. Yes.
And to start with the AirTag program, how exactly does that work with no chase laws? Like if a car is still moving, it's right after a carjacking occurred, can officers go after that car?
Thank you, Emily. I think what we have right now is a policy that allows us to pursue certain vehicles. And based on the components of that policy, there has to be an imminent threat of death or serious injury, either injury to a person or to someone in the public. We typically don't just go after cars for a traffic infraction or a traffic violation, but what this will do is allow us to recover the vehicle faster.
1 second, ma'am. I'll do the press questions first. Yes. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a few off-topic questions. Is that okay now?
Okay.
The first is if you could speak a little bit more to what happened over the weekend and last week with the juveniles involved in carjacking incidents. I believe at a press conference earlier you said that 15-year-old girl in the passenger seat of one car had 6 or 7 past carjacking charges, and I'm wondering if you could clarify if that is still true, if that's what you believe, or if there's something different going on with her.
You can talk to the deputy mayor following the presser. Any other questions?
Sure. I imagine that's the same about the 16-year-old and her history.
You know I'm not going to talk about juvenile histories. You know that. You know that the law doesn't permit me to do that.
I just wanted you to clarify because of what you've said previously about these particular cases. But
we can talk about the cases offline. Yep.
One more on DYRS. My latest understanding on DYRS at both YSC and New Beginnings is that YSC is over capacity and New Beginnings is at capacity, and that we're short-staffed in both facilities. Do you feel like there is enough staffing in place given the volume of children and teenagers there to keep those youth safe and the staff safe?
I do.
And I have a question for the Deputy Mayor as well. On
What's your
something unrelated.
question?
The question is on the drug-free zone policy and its constitutionality. Last week, I believe, or earlier to a colleague of mine, the Deputy Mayor cited a sentencing project policy and explaining why there are no constitutional concerns about the proposal to reinstate drug-free zones. But that sentencing project has since said that briefing was about something completely different, school-related drug-free zones. So I'm wondering if you could clarify what exactly that policy has to do with your proposal.
Which policy has to do with it? The school-free zones? It has nothing to do with it. What it has to do with is a policy that was on the books in the District of Columbia. How many years? From 1996 to 2014 was the law of the land in the district for those years.
And are you familiar at all with the 2001 federal court case that struck down Annapolis's anti-loitering drug-free law that seems very similar to DC's? And does that give you any sort of concern about?
It doesn't. So we introduced a law that was on the books in our city as one tool in the district. We expect to introduce it to the council actually tomorrow. So it would be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. Yes. Next question.
Hi there. Going back to the tag program, just how many are available for residents, and is the clinics, is that the only opportunity for them to pick up the tags?
Sure.
Well, I won't give out the number that are available. We've offered the opportunity for those community members to come to their respective PSAs, and that today is the only option as of right now that we're offering for them to come to their respective PSAs and to have the devices installed on their phones with the support of our community outreach officers.
Okay. And the other thing I want to mention, I just asked my technology person back here. These things cost about $30. So while we're focused on making sure that we're working in precincts that we know have had a high number of vehicle thefts, and I'm just going to start using this statement as well. Would-be carjackers are stealing these cars. Now, some of them aren't being used for carjackings, but too many of them are. A lot of stolen cars are used in these carjackings and getaway cars and you name it. So we're very focused on cars staying in the hands of their owners. So anybody can put in, the police will tell you what to do and make sure it's registered and how it can be useful. But this is something that all Washingtonians should consider. Any other questions?
Going back to the DSYR, is there any consideration at all as far as the budget? Should this be a time to increase the budget moving forward, or?
I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor, we ensure that we're properly budgeted at DYRS and our other agencies. And all of our budgets reflect that. There's no concern when we have a concern about the budget. And we have in years where we have budgeted for more personnel and that those investments didn't make it through the council process. We've had that, I think, in some years. But I'm going to ask either the Deputy Mayor or the City Administrator to say a little bit more.
So certainly one of the things that we've seen over time is a reduce in the number of committed youth. So when people ask about DRS's budget, right, like we make sure that our facilities have the budget they need to operate for whatever number of youth are there, and that includes with staff as well, right? So there's questions about staff. Well, DRS had 5 YDR vacancies and 18 in the pipeline to backfill, right? So that's that. But really where you see adjustments in DRS's budget is because the number of committed youth go down. So if that goes up, as we always do during the budget process, we'll look at what the appropriate dollars are to accommodate that. But we've seen significant decreases in committed youth to the agency.
Yes.
Data as of yesterday morning showed that YSC had 92 youths there, and there's an 88-bed capacity. So how exactly is that working?
So it's not an 88-bed capacity, right? Like one of the things is we talk about single cell, but I was at DRS for many years, and you'll hear over time that if youth are securely detained, no matter what the number is, there's capacity for us to do congregate setting, double bunking, many things that happen in secure juvenile facilities. I've been at the facility where there's upwards of 135 to 150 youth. Is that what we want? Certainly no. But the agency is more than capable of housing safely whatever number of youth the court deem need to be securely housed. I'd also note that we always say this, there's different populations at the YSC. Committed youth that DORS can move into other placements if necessary, which will free up bed space. Title 16 youth that we know the marshals move to other facilities across the country. So we will accommodate whatever number of youth safely that the court believe need to be securely detained.
Okay.
Good morning. When it comes to these Apple AirTags, New York City Police Department implemented a similar program with these tags earlier this year. Have NPD and NYPD collaborated at all when it comes to this? How have they seen success with this in other jurisdictions? Have you all had any conversations with them?
Well, we oftentimes converse with a lot of our law enforcement partners across the country with respect to new technology, how we patrol, how we attempt to come together to reduce crime. And in this particular instance, we did reach out to Denver Police Department, and this was one of the tools that they said they wish they had. And I also have an AirTag, and I find it to be a useful tool. In my personal vehicle. I believe when I leave one location, it pops up on my phone and lets me know that I've left the package or a bag someplace. So I think it is a very viable tool. And you've heard us say today, community members also have these air tags or tile tags already in their vehicles, and they have been successful in the recovery of a lot of the stolen vehicles, some of the stolen vehicles that we've recovered thus far.
All right. Time to demonstrate. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gladys. It's beautiful, yeah.
Locks on your car.
We have a few if you want one.
And also, I was happy to have the device personally. I'm 80 years old. Got my car. You need to find me. So, thank you.
Amen. Thank you. All right. What do we do now? Somebody's going to okay. Ready?
Yes. All right. So good morning, everybody. I'm Officer Lewis with the 1st District Community Outreach Team. So here I have one of the air tags today that are going to be assisting residents in being able to monitor their vehicle. So it's really simple. You'll have it. You'll download it to your phone. And once we insert the vehicle, you can now place it safely wherever you would like, right in the vehicle. You have it hooked up to your phone, and as I come out, I'll get my notification. I'll be able to safely track it, even if I misplaced my vehicle, forgot where I parked, or in the event of a crime. So make sure to visit the locations, get your tag, get your air towel, and let's keep track of our vehicles.
Can you do that again? Sorry. Do it again.
Oh, get in. You want me to get inside? Oh, okay. All right. So now, as I'm here in the vehicle, we have our air tag. Oh. So this here is what the device looks like. We just have one here, very small. You can securely hide it anywhere you like.
Where's the other one go?
And then it pairs right with your Bluetooth phone. So with the iPhone, it'll pop up immediately. You can name it anything that you like. It's a real simple process. Takes less than a minute to actually get all set up. And now once I have my AirTag device, I'll place it anywhere in the vehicle that I like. And I'll always be able to monitor on my phone. You can look under the Find My iPhone section. You'll see it popped up in your vehicle. And it'll also show you movements all throughout.
All right. So does 2 come in a pack?
So that pack has 4, but
okay.
the residents will be issued one to pay with their
Okay,
phone
okay.
and be able to have in the vehicle.
Okay, and they only have access to the information.
Yeah, so only
Not
you
us.
have access. We don't have access to it. You're able to track it. It works very similar as if you misplace your Android or iPhone. You can pull it up from a different device and be able to follow your device. In this instance, your car.
Okay. All right. So will it just tell me that I'm in this parking lot, or will it tell me I'm on that intersection? What is it? How?
So it'll actually give you the specifics to where right now it'll show us in this parking lot. You'll be able to click it and it can pull up actual GPS navigation to that location. If it starts to move, it'll actually show those movements as well. So you'll be able to closely monitor it in the event, of a crime is committed with the vehicle.
Okay. All right. Thank you, officer. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Let's get some airtag. That's it. The tiles, or whatever they call it.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.